news discussion. Whenever Prime Minister, President or Foreign Minister visits some other country, or when there was a visit to our country, any other foreign dignitary, when he has come to our country, then that is a news for us. Whenever our Prime Minister, President, Vice President, whenever our Prime Minister, President, Vice President goes to some other country and they have come back from this to this country, then it is a news for us. Our Vice President, Mr. Venkaiah Naidu, went to 4-day visit to a country called Vietnam. Our Vice President, Sri Venkaiah Naidu, went to 4-day visit to a country named Vietnam. In the year 2018, Vietnam Prime Minister have come to India, and also in the same year, Vietnam President have come to India. Vietnam Prime Minister, Vietnam President. So, whenever the visit is completed, you should know the outcome of the visit. There will be some agreements, there will be some MOUs, there will be some collaborations, there will be some gifts. All these things you have to make a note of it. Particularly when Prime Minister visits to other country, or when some foreign president or Prime Minister comes to our country, you have to note it down, the outcome of that, first thing. Second thing, you should locate the country in the map, the country in the atlas, and you should also see the bordering countries in the atlas. You should also see the bordering countries in the atlas. So this is very, very important. Okay. So first of all, remember this. There will be n number of foreign visits. You should keep watching. And our Vice President went to Vietnam. Coming to Hindu paper first page, Supreme Court extends Ayodhya mediation till August 15th. As you all know, Ayodhya dispute sent by the 5-judge bench for mediation on March 8th. See the box. Ayodhya dispute sent by 5-judge bench for mediation on March 8th in a bid to heal minds and hearts. In a bid to heal minds and hearts. You know, Ayodhya dispute is with respect to Babri Masjid and Ram Janmabhoomi, Ram temple, the area territorial dispute with respect to that. So there was a mediation comprised of Khalifullah, who is a chairman, Supreme Court Judge Khalifullah, who is a chairman, Sri Ravi Shankar and Sri Ram Panchu. All these people will mediate. The deadline was extended to August 15th. Deadline was extended to August 15th. And Supreme Court asked, see the first page again, SC means Supreme Court. Why no FIR on Rafale deal complaint? Why no FIR on Rafale deal complaint? What is FIR? First information report. FIR is first information report. According to section 154 of CRPC, Criminal Procedure Code. So whenever they have asked about FIR, you should know what is FIR, first information report. Which act deals with, which law deals with FIR? Section 154 of CRPC, Criminal Procedure Code. And see, Supreme Court asked why till now no FIR was registered on Rafale deal complaint. And next, Karnataka law on SC/ST promotion quota upheld. Karnataka law on SC/ST promotion quota upheld. See, in Indian Constitution we have reservations in jobs, in politics, we have reservations, you know that. For example, in politics, some seats are earmarked to SC/STs. They are called reserved constituencies. In the same way, in jobs, SCs and STs have reservations, and OBCs who are non-creamy layer also have reservations. Okay. Karnataka government have given reservations in promotions, which was questioned. Supreme Court said we can give reservations in promotions also for SCs and STs. And the contention is, the opponents say, there is one article in the Indian Constitution, Article 335, all of you should remember. There is an article called Article 335, Article 335. Article 335 says, you can give reservations, that is claims of SCs and STs. Claims of SCs and STs can be considered, but at the same time, administrative efficiency and merit cannot be compromised. Claims of SCs and STs can be considered, but at the same time, administrative efficiency and merit cannot be compromised. That means you can give reservations, but at the same time, the efficiency and merit cannot be compromised. Sometimes you would have observed, even while giving reservations, they will ask to get minimum qualifying mark. If nobody gets minimum qualifying mark, reservations will be carried forward for the next year. You know why? We should have minimum standards to maintain administrative efficiency. See, reservations can be given at the same time to the candidates who are meritorious, not that who cannot perform in the basic things. So, this was question. But the Supreme Court told, unless they enter into job, they perform it, how can you say they don't have efficiency? Unless they are appointed to it, how can you say they are not efficient? So, in this case, you should remember Article 335. Article 335 says claims of SCs and STs should be considered. That means reservations can be given, but administrative efficiency and merit cannot be compromised. Okay, next. See, if you book a flight ticket in the last minute, generally you have to pay heavy price. You have to pay very high price for the last minute bookings. First time Air India said, those who books within 3 hours of departure, they will get lot of discounts in air tickets. Air tickets discount, those who book the tickets before 3 hours of departure of the flight. Air India will offer heavy discount to passengers who booked last minute tickets. This is first time Air India is coming up with such type of offers. Generally Air India, a public sector unit, will never offer such discounts, but first time Air India is also coming out with lucrative discounts. So coming back, if you open page number 7, as you all know, page number 7 always is important, I told you. In Hindu paper, after first page, you have to read page number 7. Okay. Today's most important article. See, Chandrayaan 2 will carry 14 payloads from India. Chandrayaan 2 will carry 14 payloads from India. Chandra ante moon. Already we have sent Chandrayaan 1. This is Chandrayaan 2. Unmanned, not manned. Remember. Now listen. We want to probe the moon. So we are sending Chandrayaan 2 mission, most probably in July. And this Chandrayaan 2 carries 14 payloads. There are certain observations and photographs and certain probing items, instruments carried to the moon. So Chandrayaan 2 carries 14 payloads. The approximate weight of the spacecraft is 3800 kgs. 3800 kgs, and it includes orbiter which will circle the moon at 100 kilometers. An orbiter which circles the moon. An orbiter which circles the moon. It has a lander called Vikram. There is a lander in Chandrayaan 2 called, the name of lander is Vikram, and there is also a rover. The name is Pragnan. So lander name is Vikram. Chandrayaan will have orbiter, lander, rover. Lander name is Vikram. Rover name is Pragnan. ISRO said all the 3 modules will carry payloads. Around how many payloads? 14 payloads we are sending. And the important point with respect to Chandrayaan 2 is Chandrayaan 2 is going and landing in the area which is the south pole, moon's south pole, which is unexplored till now. Chandrayaan 2 is landing, is sending a lander to a place in the south pole in the moon. Till now it is an unexplored area. So we are going to probe the south pole, and already India have sent Chandrayaan 1 in 2008. Now it was Chandrayaan 2. So Chandrayaan 1 was launched by PSLV. Chandrayaan 2 is going to be launched by GSLV Mark 3. See, generally PSLV is very successful. PSLV is considered as working horse. PSLV is considered as working horse. GSLV Mark 3 rocket. GSLV is also nowadays successful. We are sending Chandrayaan 2 from GSLV. Okay. PSLV, GSLV. So, if I ask you to do research, you should see what are the missions of PSLV. What is this launching vehicle? What is the difference between PSLV and GSLV? That you will learn slowly, but this is the area which you have to do research. So your duty is Chandrayaan 2. You have to work on Chandrayaan 2. Okay. And one more thing. UPSC's favorite area is ISRO and NASA. And for that matter, any new space exploration. Whenever Japanese Space Agency or European Space Agency, JAXA, or ESA, European Space Agency, or Russian Space Agency, and Indian ISRO and NASA does something, that was a news for UPSC. UPSC will definitely give some questions on it. So for 1 year from now, you should follow ISRO, NASA and other important space missions of famous countries in the world. Remember. Okay. Whenever this type of news comes, you should note it down. It's not just simply noting it down, but you should do some research on it. You should do lot of study on it. Okay. So Chandrayaan 2. In the same way, if you see back from the brink. So this is all about elephant. If you observe, there is an elephant, baby elephant on the road. Baby elephant is roaming on the road. If you observe, he is walking on the road. Page number 7, photograph, you have baby elephant. See, there is a concept in our syllabus called man-animal conflict. Man-animal conflict. You will be seeing a tiger have come to the city and have eaten away, or a man entered into the zoo, tiger attacked him and killed him. This is called man-animal conflict. Are monkeys coming into the cities and eating away the fruits and vegetables? All these things comes under man-animal conflict. Are elephants crossing the railway lines and train accident happened to elephants and elephants died? All these things are important for you for exam. Not the incident. But what do you mean by man-animal conflict? How to eliminate, how to minimize man-animal conflict? Is human being entered into their domain or animals coming into humans domain? It is not animals coming into human domain. Humans are entering into animal domain. You know why? Most of the animals which we have are territorial. They need large tracts of land, large forest areas. For example, elephant travels 15-20 kilometers a day. Even a tiger to live in needs 10 to 15 kilometers space. So we are cutting down jungles and we are making industries, roads, railway lines, and for the food and fodder, water, they enter into human areas. So this is how you have to analyze things. And we are missing the protected zones. We recently last few months back, Avni tigress, AVNI, Avni tigress was killed. It is a man-eater tigress. It have eaten around 13 to 14 human beings. Avni tigress. So you have to read about all these things, and in exam you have to write examples. Avni, AVNI, Avni tigress, these things. Okay. Next, in the same paper, Funny's fury creates 4 new mouths in Odisha's Chilka Lake. Chilka Lake in Odisha is a wetland, is a very important biodiversity place. So you should know what is Chilka Lake, where it is located, all these things. Okay, Chilka Lake. And PepsiCo withdraws all cases against farmers. You all know what happened, PepsiCo versus Gujarat farmers, FC5 variety of potatoes. PepsiCo also asked money, the losses for 1 crore rupees from each farmer. Finally, unable to withstand the international pressure and social media pressure, PepsiCo is withdrawing cases from courts, law courts. Now farmers are asking the company to apologize. The company to apologize. This is the issue. So let's go with editorial page. The editorial page page number 8. For a full bench. For a full bench. Yesterday we have read in the first page of Hindu that the Supreme Court is aspiring to have entire full bench with 31 judges. With 31 judges. And here you need to know a new topic, which you need to again do research. Don't feel bad. Even if you know 10% of it, it's okay. Okay? See, judges are appointed by President. Okay? As an executive head, President will appoint the judges. But it is not government's appointment totally. Collegium of judges recommend the names. Collegium, Collegium. Collegium of judges recommend the names. Collegium means Chief Justice of India plus 4 senior most judges. Collegium means Chief Justice of India plus 4 senior most judges. Okay? So, Collegium will send the names, and automatically these names will be assented by the President. So this process is nicknamed sometimes as judges appointing judges. Judges appointing judges. And there was a criticism that in judiciary there is a uncle judge syndrome. Uncle judge syndrome. What do you mean by uncle judge syndrome? If judiciary, if somebody likes you very much, he may recommend your name. This is called uncle judge syndrome. To promote transparency and to avoid this type of criticism, 99th Constitutional Amendment Act was passed in the year 2014. 99th Constitutional Amendment Act. Establishing NJAC. What is NJAC? National Judicial Appointments Commission. Establishing NJAC. NJAC means National Judicial Appointments Commission. NJAC. NJAC is a commission consisting of Chief Justice of India as the chairman and law minister, 2 judges, 2 outside expert members. But Supreme Court said NJAC is not correct. Supreme Court made it unconstitutional, declared NJAC as unconstitutional in 2015. No, we don't want any commission. We follow collegium method. They wanted to follow only collegium method. No law minister, no outsiders. We don't want any other person. Judges will recommend the appointment of judges. So NJAC was declared as unconstitutional. National Judicial Appointments Commission was declared as unconstitutional. Okay, now recently some judges' names were recommended by collegium to the government. 2 judges, one Mr. Aniruddha Bose and A.S. Bopanna, names were recommended. Center asked the collegium to tell why their credibility and other things, and the collegium told by seeing their conduct, competency and integrity. Their conduct, competency and integrity. Generally, nowadays there is an issue between executive and judiciary. That is central government and judiciary with respect to recommendation of judges. After judiciary recommending the name, center is taking a long time. According to the center, there are some issues with judiciary. According to judiciary, center is dominating the judiciary. The issues are going on. And in this issue, the major problem is pendency of cases. If there is shortage of judges in Supreme Court and High Courts, cases will be delayed. In all the High Courts put together, the vacancies of judges is 396. 396. Unless we have better cooperation in judicial appointments between judiciary and executive, these type of issues will creep in. So Supreme Court wanted to have full judges, full strength, 31, and even vacancies in the High Court should be minimized so that there will be speedy justice delivery system. Okay, here the point you have to learn is 99th Constitutional Amendment was declared as unconstitutional. 99th Constitutional Amendment deals with National Judicial Appointments Commission. 99th Constitutional Amendment deals with National Judicial Appointments Commission. Collegium method is being followed. Collegium method means judges appointing, judges recommending the appointment of judges. To this extent you have to remember. Next article. Resolving India's banking crisis. Resolving India's banking crisis. Listen. Fundamentals of Indian economy are very strong. Generally say, the fundamentals of Indian economy are very strong. You know why? Indian banking is very strong. Our banking system is very strong. But from last 3-4 years, our banking system is facing a big crisis called NPA, non-performing asset. NPA, non-performing asset. In Telugu it is called Nirardaka Astulu. Telugulo Nirardaka Astulu antam. NPA means non-performing asset. What do you mean by a non-performing asset? See, if somebody takes a bank loan, if you don't pay principal or interest for 3 months, for a continuous 90 days, your account is called NPA. Your account is called NPA. Ante, if you take a bank loan, oka bank loan తీసుకున్నాం, if you are not paid principal or interest for 90 days, that's called NPA. So remember, NPA problem started 10 years back when banks have given excessive loans because of market crisis. The businesses did not fare well, and if businesses did not fare well, they cannot pay back the loans. For example, you have started a new business, you have taken bank loan. Because of market conditions, nobody is purchasing products from you. Can you repay the loan? No. For example, you are a software employee, you used to get 2 lakh rupees salary per month. You have taken a housing loan. Suddenly you lost your job. You are not getting good job to repay back the loan. You have got a job again, but that did not pay you 2 lakh rupees. So every month you have to pay 1 lakh rupees as housing loan. Can you pay it? No. So then your loan account will become NPA. Because of some problems are because of market conditions. And sometimes you also see Vijay Mallya cases. Cases like Vijay Mallya. They take loan, they don't repay. Sometimes willful default. Willful default means intentionally they will default. There will be genuine defaulters, there will be willful defaulters. Genuine defaulters are the defaulters who genuinely cannot pay the money because of loss of business, loss in job, all these things. Willful defaulters, they are rich, they have the capacity to pay, but they try to evade. They are called willful defaulters. Anyhow, you should understand a point. NPAs in PSBs, public sector banks, are more than in private sector banks. Because public sector banks issue the loans without proper credentials, proper credit history, sometimes proper collateral. What is collateral? When you give a loan, you take a collateral. For example, you want to have a loan for car. You have to take a loan and purchase a car generally. And when you have purchased the car, if you cannot pay the loan, bank will take away the car. This is called collateral. So without taking proper collaterals, for example, for Vijay Mallya, even for Kingfisher emblem, even for the emblem of Kingfisher, they have given around 900 crores of loan. What you will do with Kingfisher emblem? Can you sell the emblem? See, brand is a brand, but for a brand which is intangible, can you give 900 crores loan? So these are the faults. So for all these reasons, PSBs have lot of NPAs, non-performing assets. NPA means non-performing asset. Now, how to recover? Is it a suggestion? Can you suggest that you have to convert public sector into private sector? No. Because Indira Gandhi, do you know that in 1969, in the year 1969, Indira Gandhi nationalized 14 banks. So banks should be in the hands of public sector because welfare and good economics definitely are important through good banking system. So you have to resolve the problems of NPS. You have to resolve the problems of NPS. In this article, there is a word called haircut. If you read in as a young newspaper reader, you will not understand what is this haircut. For example, say I have taken loan of 100 rupees. Now I have the capacity to pay only 70 rupees. By that time, if bank waits and asks me to pay 100 rupees, by that time I can waste my 70 rupees also. So at least take 70 rupees and leave. So bank should agree to take certain reductions. This is called haircut. There is a word called haircut. And how to solve this problem? See, already we have many mechanisms to solve NPA problem. Recently, 2 years back in 2016, our parliament passed Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Our parliament passed Insolvency Bankruptcy Code. Telugulo Divala Chattam. Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, COD. That means when a company is going to losses, insolvency professionals will take care of that and minimize the losses. Otherwise, they will salivate. Okay. See, a business has to pay 100 rupees. It is showing losses. There are still 90 rupees worth property. You can take away the business and try to run the business efficiently, or if you cannot run it within 6 months, sell it away, so that we can minimize the losses to the banks. Insolvency, Bankruptcy Code. In the same way, we have one more act called Surfacy Act. SARFAESI. We have one more act called Surfacy Act. In the same way, we have debts recovery tribunals. To recover the debts, we have debts recovery tribunals. So there are many mechanisms. There are many mechanisms to resolve the problem of non-performing assets. But we can minimize the problem of non-performing assets by being very careful in extending the loans. While giving the loans, you should be very careful. You should check the collaterals, check the credit history, all those things. You should check the collaterals, you should check the credit history, all those things. In the same way, 3 years back there is a proposal to create a bad bank. Bad bank. What is a bad bank? Bad bank means a bank which will purchase all the bad loans of all the banks. A bank which will take away all the bad loans of all the banks. Bad loans in the sense, the loans which are not getting some money. They are called bad loans. So even if you understand 10% of it, it's okay. Understood what is an NPA? What is the procedure? If you don't pay principal or income for 90 days, it comes under non-performing asset. There are two types of defaulters: willful defaulters, genuine defaulters. To solve the issue, Insolvency, Bankruptcy Code, Surfacy Act, Debts Recovery Tribunals. So to this extent you try to remember. So more number of NPAs we find in public banks, public sector banks. In private sector, they are very tough in recovering the loans. Okay, for example HDFC, for example Axis Bank, all these things you don't feel like loans are not being repaid. Whereas SBI, Bank of Baroda, Vijaya Bank, Dena Bank, you all know the banks are being merged nowadays. Okay.
Governments are creating their own banks now. Obviously, the banks are giving loans. Every quarter they are keeping targets. Due to that also the NPAs are growing.
Okay, you work in bank? Which bank? Andhra Bank. Okay. So government puts pressure on public sector banks to give loans. Targets are there, yes. I'll tell you 2-3 issues. Issue number 1 is banking business. Banking business runs in a simple logic. You give loans, you get deposits. Banks gets deposits, bank give loans. If bank gives loan, it will charge interest. If bank takes deposit, give interest. If bank extends loan, the interest rate will be more. If banks collect the deposits, interest rate will be less. The difference between these two interest is profit. The difference between these two interest rate is profit. If banks keep quiet without giving loans, can the banks flourish? No. Banks has to give loan. And one more thing, if bank gives loan, for example, you want to start a business, bank have to give loan. You got a government contract, you have to do the contract. Based on the contract, you can take some loan. Or I want to build a house, I want loan. If bank gives loan, country will run. Country's infrastructure will run. So there should be loan targets, credit targets. Okay, first thing. Second thing, while meeting the target, banks has to rush the giving of the loans. They will rush up. While rushing up, they will ignore certain basic things like, say for example, market volatility. Market volatility in the sense, say today bank is giving loan by taking a collateral from a place in Amravati. Amravati is another capital, now it's a high price. After 4-5 months with political uncertainty, prices in the Amravati might fall. Or I do remember a case where Shamshabad airport. When the airport was announced in Shamshabad, near Hyderabad, the property prices went to the peak in Shamshabad. Again they got stabilized. So first of all, banks should see market volatility. Second thing, there will be political pressures from bank chairmen and other people. I think you all know Chanda Kochar issue. ICICI chairman Chanda Kochar. What happened? ICICI extended loan to Videocon. Chanda Kochar's husband company got investments from Videocon. And after that, Videocon have not repaid loan to ICICI. Videocon company have taken loan from ICICI. Chanda Kochar is the chairman of ICICI. Videocon have invested some money in Chanda Kochar's husband's company. And Videocon have not repaid loan to ICICI. This case is called quid pro quo. QUID, quid, PRO, QUO, quid pro quo. What is this quid pro quo? Quid pro quo means, I have done this to you. You should favor me. Mutual favor. I have done this to you, you have to do this to me. This is called quid pro quo, something in return. These are some cases. These are few cases. And the next case is, some people will take loan without intention to pay it back. They know that they will not pay it back. You know why? Willful defaulters. They will create fake documents, fake things and show that. So all these things comes under non-performing assets. In public sector banks, accountability will be comparatively less. In private sector banks, the manager and the staff who have advanced the loan are liable, responsible. They will be working time bound. In public sector banks, there will be delays. Automatically, there will be more NPS in public sector banks and less NPS in private sector banks. And one more problem, some genuine people, even though they want to repay, they will not have money. Immediately their businesses will be sold. This is another problem. There are many issues revolving around non-performing assets. Doubts after the class? Otherwise, entire class time will be over for NPS. Okay, next. A fraud moment. FRAUGHT. A fraud moment. Next article. A fraud. FRAUGHT. A fraud moment. First of all, you should understand the meaning of fraud. You should understand the meaning of FRAUGHT. See, a area of contention, a conflict or a dissonance. As you all know, yesterday we have discussed, India and US have trade related issues where US is asking market access in India and US is complaining that India is imposing tariffs and US is also imposing tariffs on India. The same thing in a bigger way is going on between US and China. Yesterday, day before yesterday, Trump tweeted that US is going to increase tariffs on Chinese goods. Increase tariffs on variety of Chinese goods. This is going to end up in very big trade war. Already trade war started. That is imposing tariffs on each other's goods. And IMF, International Monetary Fund, earlier predicted that the world growth rate will be around 3.5. Now it is saying it is around 3.2. If trade wars continue, it will affect the world growth rates and world economy. So what we need is, countries should settle down the issues and go with peaceful trade. And in this article, they also mentioned that trade wars imposing more and more tariffs on Chinese goods will also affect American consumers and American businesses. You know why? American consumers will not get cheap goods. American businesses who rely on some spare parts and other things from China cannot purchase them because they are of high cost now. So they will close down. Not only China will get affected if America imposes more tax on China, even America will get affected. You know why? For example, if Chinese pen drive costs in America $1, now if American company has to pay more money because it has to pay more customs duty if it purchases Chinese products. So finally American businesses will also get affected, particularly American small and marginal businesses. So trade wars not only affect China but also America. Next. New clouds over the Persian Gulf. New clouds over the Persian Gulf. Listen. America's idea, according to America's ideology, Iran is a rogue state. Iran is a rogue state. America have withdrawn all its waivers. America is imposing sanctions on Iran. America wanted to stop all oil exports from Iran, asking all the countries not to purchase oil from Iran. And Iran told, now I am also not going to bound by any agreement. I am also partially lifting my commitments. Now I will also go for my uranium enrichment. I will also re-establish my Arak nuclear facility. I will also go with all my nuclear productions, all those things. This will escalate the tensions in the Middle East. On the one side, Russia supports Iran. Russia supports Iran. Now Russia is telling, I will assert my role. If America imposes sanctions, America does all these things, I will also do my work like nuclear escalations, nuclear capability, uranium enrichment and all these things. And why should I fear for America? See, these things will destabilize the foreign relations, the Middle East and the Persian Gulf. This is a thing. And Washington should also be very careful because any instability in the region might affect the entire region. This is the other issue. And Syria is a very good, Bashar al-Assad, Syrian leader, is a friend of Iran. And Russia is also supporting Iran. So it may further escalate tensions. This is the story. Okay. In this article, there is a word called IRGC. What is this IRGC? Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. IRGC. Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. CORPS. And every Saturday, you will get an article called Ground Zero, full page. Whenever you get time, you sit on the article and read. Just you will understand and you will get good analytical power. There is an article called Ground Zero. Every Friday you will get an interview. So there will be various things, you just read Ground Zero by yourself. Next. I told you every day to read international page number 12. Trump raises tariffs on Chinese goods. Trade war escalates. Trump raises tariffs on Chinese goods. Trade war escalates. Trade war escalates. The trade war between US and China took a worst turn where Trump administration increased tariffs on 200 billion worth Chinese goods. Trump administration increased tariffs on 200 billion worth Chinese goods. Tariffs of 5,700 categories of goods. 5,700 categories of goods increased from 10 to 25%. 10% to 25%. Around 5,700 categories of goods. And within hours, the tariffs have come into effect when a Chinese minister was still in USA. So this is how there is a chart. If you see the diagram, see whenever this type of diagrams are given, you should follow. Chart, pie chart I have given. See, trade war escalates. How various Chinese goods will have to pay more tariffs to enter into American territory. See the chart. This you have to understand. Try to understand. Okay. And if you take last page, Amazon. Who is the chief of Amazon? Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos outlines plan. Jeff Bezos outlines plan to build infrastructure. Jeff Bezos outlines plan to build infrastructure to sustain the colonization of space in future. See, Jeff Bezos wanted to send men to moon. He wanted to establish permanent places for men in the moon. So Jeff Bezos if you see, is sending a blue origins blue moon lunar lander, a lunar lander which goes to moon. The name is blue moon. If you observe the picture, these type of articles you have to read. Okay. Now, what are your doubts? Somebody is asking doubt.